Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 22nd of August, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar, as always, sinking lower. Trump political woes weighing a little bit here. So we are just seeing the dollar pushing low on that short-term chart. We still have long-term, short-term upside targets in train. But interestingly, we might be just hitting a bit of resistance here on the long-term chart. But for the moment, still strong medium-term, but short week-term. And against the euro, we see this short-term strength in the euro versus the dollar on that dollar weakness. Looking at Japanese yen, we see here dollar is actually a little bit stronger, just coming up in the last 24 hours. So it tends to show its strength against the yen first. And looking at sterling, sterling back at the 128 levels. So really just pushing higher there as well. So short-term bullish, but of course medium-term bearish, and that's still a picture there. Looking at sterling against the euro, we see bearish on all three time frames and still downside targets hanging over sterling, so sterling weakness still a factor there. Against the Swiss franc, sterling has looked a little bit stronger in the last few days, but still medium-term weakness. Against the Aussie dollar, so sterling has strengthened quite a bit there as well over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin sitting at 6,600, so a big jump yesterday, and this morning we're just pushing higher, up 3%. So just does show that Bitcoin is capable of doing these jumps, and so we are just seeing some strength creeping in there. So short-term strong, medium and long-term still weak. Looking at the S&P 500 index, last night we closed up 0.2% higher, so we're bullish on all three time frames, just starting to nudge the all-time high that we saw at the start of the year. And if we look at the Nasdaq, we see the Nasdaq still bearish on the short-term chart, although it has made new all-time highs, of course. Looking at the Dow, Nasdaq was up 1/3% overnight. The Dow was up 1/4%, looking quite strong there as well. And the Russell 2000 index also pushing higher, up over 1%. The futures this morning, the S&P future down about 0.2%, and the Nasdaq E-mini down about 0.2% as well. And looking at the FTSE 100 index, we see here that the FTSE 100 is down as well. And looking at the mid caps, we see also we're lower here too. The DAX in Germany still bearish below the cloud, although we're up slightly this morning, and the CAC 40 also just up slightly. The Japanese market overnight just pushing a little bit higher, but still bearish on the short and medium term time frames. The Hang Seng was up 0.5%, but not enough to take it bullish short term. And the Chinese market continues to struggle, down a further 0.7% overnight. So we're still bearish on all three time frames on China, still hanging over global markets, and of course the trade wars with the US are having an effect there. The Indian market looking quite strong, little changed overnight, and the Aussie market falling away quite significantly over the last couple of days, taking it short-term bearish. Political woes there with challenge to the Prime Minister in Australia. Looking at Brent crude, we're seeing Brent stronger short-term, WTI also stronger short-term. Medium-term charts still look a little bit worrying. US nat gas just nudging that $3 level. We did touch there yesterday, but we are sitting at 2.99 this morning. So really just nudging there. We've got targets of 310 and 313, so that's looking a bit stronger. Taking a look at gold, gold just pulling back very slightly at 11.93, holding on to its short-term bull trend, and silver also just down very slightly and quite flat the last few days. US 10-year yield sitting at 2.83% on the T-bond. Apple looking still pretty bullish overall. We fell back a little bit yesterday, but the chart's just all in bullish mode there. And looking at Amazon, also still holding on to its bull trend just on the short-term chart. Google not looking as strong as most tech majors, still bearish on the short-term chart. And Facebook really struggling to hold this 170 level, which would be a new multi-month low for Facebook after that big fall last month. So quite key there. And Microsoft coming back as well, just struggling to hold on to the 110 level, bearish short term. Netflix, of course, been in the news a lot lately after their big falls last month. Actually recovering quite well, was up 3% yesterday. And Tesla, also in the news, was also up quite sharply yesterday, up 4%. So we're seeing counter trend moves on quite a few of these stocks short term. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting.